Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Shoot 'em up, Buttercup, and we are back in the friendly confines. Another fine to mildly okay edition of the Claire-vs-Carlson show. There are many things you could put in your ears. This is one of them. We are part of the Late Night Sports Radio Network, latenightsportsradio.com. I'm Andy Carlson at Purple for the Win, purpleforthewin.com. Vikings podcast, you already know that. All the good stuff is over there. And we can be found at Claire-vs-Carlson, all spelled out on the YouTube, on Twitter machine, and we're on YouTube, we're on iTunes, we're everywhere. Claire, unfortunately, is not with us. She's no longer with us, Nick.
No.
No, just kidding. She had a little surgery yesterday, and everything went well, and she may join us for a little short segment at the end as she's all meted up like Elizabeth Taylor. Should be kind of funny. But joining me now, you already heard him, I already threw to him, because 100% 200 proof Andy would be a little bit too much for the fine people. Nick Assumption, official minstrel over at Purple for the Win, at Nick Assun on the Twitter machine. We call him Uncle Nick. Nick, what's up?
Hey, Andy, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so now it's Tuesday morning, and you are not at work. Why is that?
I know, I'm on vacation. I work at a company that if you don't use your vacation by the end of the anniversary year, you lose it. So it's like, I want to go on vacation. I don't want to lose that. It's free money. I'm getting paid not to go to work. It's awesome.
Wait, so is it true if you don't use it, you lose it?
Yes, that's true.
Okay. And that was another subtle movie reference, and Nick and I will have many like that because like movie trivia, pop culture references are kind of our forte.
Oh yeah, I love movies.
Matt Forte.
I don't recall him being in any movies.
Yeah, probably not. But today, we got a lot of show to get to. We have a whole bunch of NFL drama. Percy Harvin, the Asshat, Peyton Manning breaks a record. How about them Cowboys? Nick and I are Vikings fans, so we got a lot of pain going on. Fantasy Bitchin. Nick and I are in the same league, and I got a bone to pick with him. I got boner to pick with him. There we go. That was a Freudian slip. College football, minor league football played over the weekend. FSU beat Notre Dame in a classic showdown. We have some pop culture segments if there's time. We also have Triviasun. Nick is going to try and stump me with some trivia. The theme, NFL records, in honor of Peyton Manning and DeMarco Murray, each setting an NFL record over the weekend. And bringing it home in our final segment, Week 8 picks. I did not gain any ground on Claire. She still has a questionable 5-game lead, and it is very, very depressing. Oh, no, actually, that's even closer now because last night I had Pittsburgh on Monday Night Football, and she had Houston. So I'm actually only trailing by 4 games now, 53-39 to 57-35. So happy days. So that's got to be exciting, isn't it, Nick?
Oh, yeah. No, she's pretty good, though. I mean, you got to work on those.
She's garbage.
The record says something else.
Give it time. I think we differ on a couple of picks this week. So I got some hot take picks coming in. So I got some upsets picked on the docket. So I think I might make up some ground this week. Of course, I said that every week.
You know, the NFL is so random this season. Like, I don't know. It's very hard to pick. I'm pretty confident Vegas is just raking in the dough, man. They were totally rigging it or something.
What? So you're saying that Vegas actually wins and they don't build those huge buildings out there all willy nilly?
You know what? I think I think they do. Yeah.
Do you know that sports gambling is legal in New Jersey now?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, Chris Christie passed a bill, I think it was like a month ago. So now Atlantic City casinos are taking sports bets, but the NFL and all the different leagues are trying to sue and make them stop for I don't know what reason.
Interesting.
Yeah, because leagues got to know that a lot of their viewership does have a little something on the game, right?
Of course.
And they try and be like, oh, no, people love the game. But no, people love Denver -7 is what's going on.
Oh, yeah. No, it's got to make money somewhere, man. You can't run the world without money.
All right. So before all the juicy stuff, Podcast-Sun, you are going to be developing a Hollywood-themed podcast, Nick.
Yes. I've been dreaming of it for a long time. And obviously you, one of my good friends who had the balls to start his own podcast, made me think, well, I have a laptop.
I wouldn't even call it balls. I would say more like free time and being full of hot air leads to doing a lot of podcasts. Because I have 2 of them now.
Oh, yeah.
And if I can figure out the technical aspects of talking into a microphone and having it record said talking into microphone into like a tangible and cohesive manner, that anybody can do it. Come on, Nick.
Well, I'm hoping to shoot something, get something ready by winter. As you know, I love Hollywood stuff. I love trivia. I love pop culture. And, what does the world need but more people who can talk about their views and opinions on pop culture? I'm trying to approach it more for the educational purposes. I want to, because a lot of people, if you're ever out talking with friends, like, hey, have you seen any good shows or movies? And then they always ask you all this stuff about it. And, there's so much out there. And I'll admit it, I'm a Wikipedia cheater. I look up a lot of things. I know way more about shows and movies because I read about it on Wikipedia than actually
watch it. Never seen Lost, but you know what happens in every episode because of Wikipedia. True or false?
Lost is the exception. I did devote part of my life to watching all the seasons. A buddy of mine had the whole series on DVD, and I watched all of it, and I was truly heartbroken and mind blown by I have no idea what the hell happened. Even with Wikipedia, I'm like,
wait, so are they dead or did they break out of prison?
They are dead.
I don't believe it.
Spoiler alert.
Wait, no, it was all Cobb's dream because his totem was his wedding ring, not the top.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Tweets from 2011. Awesome. Now, all right, so we already tangented off, but before we get into the actual sports, now, what's your theory about length of seasons? Because I know that some sitcoms and some shows like Lost, they have 20-plus episode seasons because network TV and yada, yada. But I think that is way too long and way too much to digest for non-hardcore people. But then you have shows like True Detective and those various anthologies where it's 10 episodes per season per complete story arc, and shows like Fargo as well. Breaking Bad was only about 13 episodes a season. I think that's much more approachable and digestible than 20, 25, 30 episode seasons.
Depends on the type of series. TV sitcoms, I mean, that's just a standard generic shooting of the 20 plus. I mean, 30-minute
they want to get to what's it called? Where the episodes just run on like network TV where they can sell out.
Syndication.
Yeah, syndication. Because that's where all the money is.
Yeah, and it's super easy to shoot out these 30-minute ones. Now you have shows like True Detective, Breaking Bad. You have complex, well-written dramas that, yeah, they should be shorter. The also advantage of having shorter seasons is that you're going to have multiple shows on now. You have like the spring show, the fall show that starts in September, ends in December. You have a show that starts in January, ends in May. you have summer shows that come on. It's to create more and more shows. It's like, forget quality. Let's just do so much more. Let's just put up a crap ton of shows, and if you can get a good audience with it, that's great. I'm actually kind of against it a little bit, just because I think you have to give shows time to develop. A lot of shows are crappy the first season, but sitcom shows, the networks, they cancel shows after having 3 bad weeks because they haven't had time to develop an audience yet. It's crazy.
Like Family Guy twice.
All
right, so we already dilly-dallied enough talking about our love of television and pop culture stuff and Nick's upcoming Taylor Swift podcast, so let's get to the sports. First off, the blockbuster trade news, Percy Harvin, someone that is very near and dear to our hearts, and the Seahawks traded Percy to the Jets for a conditional 4th-round pick that can become up to a number 2, and this was a little over the year after the Seahawks traded a 1, a 3, and a 7 to the Minnesota Fighting Vikings for Percy Harvin, the mercurial, talented wide receiver, but kind of an asshole, let's be honest. Then the Seahawks gave him a 6-year, $67 million contract with 25.5 bones guaranteed. And, yeah, here we are.
Is that pause the cue to me? This is my first time, sorry.
Yeah, no, sure. You can chime in. I know you have a lot of feelings about Percy. Didn't you have a Percy jersey?
I wanted to get a Percy jersey. Unfortunately, the stores did not have do not go over sizes XL, so I'm kind of hard to find the jerseys.
But they have XL Kleinsasser jerseys.
They do. Long live Kleinsasser. I didn't know too much about the Percy Harvin situation until reading about it now. If you're not getting along with, if you're not happy where you are, I feel like is this normal now? Like, if you don't get along with your team, if you're not happy, you just start something and then, instead of trying to deal with it or talk it out, let's just send them away.
We have, as Vikings fans, we have a little inside knowledge that Percy's not really one to talk it out. You know what I mean? And also, it came to light that former Seahawks fullback Michael Robinson, now NFL Network analyst, said that, hey, I broke up the fight between Percy and Golden Tate the week of the Super Bowl, where from the photo evidence we saw, Tate had a little shiner going on during Super Bowl week, and apparently Percy just popped him. And that it falls in line with what we know of Percy. I mean, I finally got it. I'm at the pinnacle of my profession, about to play in the biggest game of my life. Screw you, Golden Tate. Pop.
God, you gotta control that anger issues, man. I mean, the NFL doesn't have a good reputation of players who are nice and peaceful. It's insane. Do you know why it was the Jets he was traded to? Was that I think there was a specific reason for that? Like the Jets were.
Well, the Seahawks definitely weren't going to trade him within the NFC, especially to contending teams. Like he wasn't getting traded to San Francisco, that's for sure. And I think they picked the Jets because the Jets are 1-6 and aren't really in a danger to contend this year. So they think that they're going to just bury Percy with a team that they're probably not going to face in the Super Bowl. And the Jets probably offered the most. Jets GM John Izek, John Schneider in Seattle, they're both worked together before. Izek was in Seattle previously, and I think that probably had a little something to do with it. But I do believe the reports that said that the Seahawks were just going to straight up cut Percy if they didn't get a trade offer.
Well, what were the Jets giving the Seahawks?
It's a conditional 4th-round pick that can become a number 2. I think Percy has to be on the team next year. I don't have all the details in front of me, but it's basically chicken feed for the type of talent that we know that Percy can be. And plus, the Jets had $20 million in cap space. They're only picking up 6.5 of Percy's contract this year. And it seems like a no-lose opportunity for them because we do know that Percy can be like a monstrous talent. And we saw that firsthand 2009, 2010, 2011. But he is just an ass off the field.
How is his pay changing at all?
Nope, the Jets are absorbing that contract, paying off the proratedness, and I think the Seahawks have to carry like $7.5 million in dead money next year on their cap, which kind of sucks, as they're also going to be paying Russell Wilson here coming up pretty soon.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
So, anything closing on Percy?
Former Viking, I wish him the best. I have no hard feelings, hopefully this is kind of an eye opener of, hey, maybe let's work on, having good attitude and stuff when, playing football.
Why can't he just be happy?
I don't know.
Seattle is the biggest kumbaya, rah, rah, let's all love each other type of locker room and culture with Pete Carroll up there and goody two-shoe Boy Scout Russell Wilson. I don't mean that in a derogatory fashion either, but Percy, just come on, man. You won a friggin' Super Bowl. And basically, out of this entire trade, Seattle got one kickoff return for a touchdown in the Super Bowl that they didn't even need.
People need it. A change can typically be a good thing. This might be the best thing on both teams' ends. We won't know until we see him play. Is he playing on Sunday?
I believe so. I don't see any reason why not. I was kind of happy, and I do feel kind of bad because Tyler, the guy I played in fantasy this week in our league that we'll get to a little later, he had Percy in his lineup. He assumed that Percy was going to play Sunday for the Seahawks. Not so much. And Percy was traded Friday after the Jets already played on Thursday, so he wasn't getting any run there. Probably wasn't anyways. And he got a big old goose egg, but probably didn't matter since I beat him down by 29.
What?
Ronnie Hillman. Peyton Manning breaks Bert Favres. Favors. Which one is it?
The third one.
Favors. Bert Favors' career touchdown record of 508 touchdown passes with 4 TDs in the 42-17 rout of the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday Night Football, where Ronnie Hillman scored 2 touchdowns, by the way. Just putting that out there as I'm a fantasy team. Manning broke the record on an 8-yard strike to Demaryius Thomas in the front right corner of the end zone in the second quarter. Very cool moment. Excited that he'd get the record, and it does make sense as Manning is the best regular season quarterback in the history of the NFL, right up there with Brett Lorenzo Favre. And just really big stat compilers. Each won 1 Super Bowl, made appearance in Peyton's appeared in 2 others. Brett appeared in 1 other and lost to the Broncos. And yeah, it makes sense. They're kind of 2 peas in the pod.
It's because Peyton Manning isn't just a great quarterback. He's a great leader. He's incredible. He knows how to. He runs that front, the offense. They get him. Whether he was with what team did he play with? The Colts or with the Broncos. I mean, he's phenomenal. He knows how to take control of the team.
Yeah, and I guess the thing that Peyton has on Brett Favre is that he doesn't have as many career interceptions as Favre, who also had. I think Favre's interception record is going to stand for a while.
I don't know, man. A lot of quarterbacks out there that like to throw picks every once in a while.
Now, they did have a very cool moment right after Thomas scored the touchdown. The wide receivers, Welker, Demaryius, Julius Thomas, the new kid. Gosh, I forgot his name. The kid who came over from Pittsburgh. Why am I blanking on the name? Anyways, him. They were playing keep away with the record touchdown ball, and they're like, oh, this is a very cool, spontaneous moment that the Broncos are putting together. And no. Apparently it was contrived, practice, touchdown dance, choreographed even, and it just kind of ruined the moment for me.
Oh, come on.
Emmanuel Sanders. Sanders.
Yes, I forgot he went there. Well, I mean, like, this had to be planned. There's some nerd analyst who probably alerted the team years ago, like, weeks ago, they're like,
no, it was all Peyton, since Peyton is this massive control freak, and they're probably going to use it on some sort of Gatorade, Papa Murphy's nationwide commercial, and they'll be like, oh, yes, here we are again, another Peyton Manning commercial.
I do love Papa Murphy's. Just point that out there.
Papa Murphy's, I like pizza.
I don't know. I mean, you knew right away. Like everyone had to have been told, dude. If you get a touchdown by me, do not throw the ball to the field. Don't give it to a fan or anything. You got to keep it because they're probably going to make money off of it. Or I think what they say. I think they're going to put it in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah, they're obviously going to keep the ball, but the whole pre-planning and premeditation of the keep away, cutesy for the television cameras, and that kind of bugged me a little bit. And plus, I wouldn't even put it past Peyton to be like, all right, so like you said, like he got a statistician like a year out and be like, all right, so if I do this and this and this, I can break it in prime time Sunday Night Football. Well, I guess we wouldn't know the schedule a year ago, but right as the season started, he's like, all right, so I need X number of touchdowns. So I'm going to get this in the first 6 weeks. Week 7, Sunday Night Football, San Francisco, national stage. Since Sunday Night Football is the most watched primetime television show in America. And then he'd be like, oh, I broke this. Oh, and now we have a contrived little touchdown dance. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
See, he could have just stopped at that, but, he did go on, and I think he had, two more touchdowns after that? What was it?
He was at 506 okay. Coming in.
Let's see.
Yeah, so Thomas was the third one. Then he piled on one more.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, so, he still wants to win games, though. No doubt about it. He just doesn't want to. I think his goal and his mindset should be to annihilate Brett Favre's record, so no one else can get it. Because I saw a Sports Nation poll on ESPN asking, do you think anyone else will ever be able to break Peyton Manning's record?
I think they definitely will, because someone will be able to have the longevity that Peyton's had, and with the new rules, all favoring the offense, all favoring the passing game, someone will definitely break it. And I don't think anyone currently in the NFL will get there unless, I don't know, maybe if Matt Stafford and Megatron, if Megatron can actually be healthy, like if he goes over to Germany and gets a little bit of stem cell stuff like Kobe did, and maybe because Matt Stafford is a stat compiler, but he needs Megatron.
I enjoyed after Manning got it, they showed camera shots of Colin Kaepernick, and he had like this grin on his face. I couldn't tell if he was sincerely like, "Oh, I'm happy for him," or if Kaepernick's like, "Ooh, that son of a,"
Well, Kaepernick. Peyton doesn't have to worry about Kaepernick breaking his record because Harbaugh won't let Kaepernick sling it. I don't know why. Maybe that's just fantasy football frustration coming over again.
Huh. I don't know.
Everything leads back to fantasy football.
It's all about fantasy. And Vegas.
Yep. And speaking of fantasy and what no one saw coming, how about them Cowboys?
Oh, my God.
Nick? 6-1 record after a solid 31-21 win at home against the Giants, and who knew?
It's something where I knew the America's team, and I know you guys can't see me quoting with my fingers because it's a podcast, but America's team. Do you think they're finally playing like America's team now? Did Tony Romo finally is he getting good confidence to not make as many mistakes as he usually does? I don't know.
See, the thing is, I think they still are America's team because they don't even have to be good to get headlines. You know what I mean? They haven't won a playoff game in 20 some odd plus years, and they're still the number one story on ESPN, win, lose, or draw, just because they're talking about, oh, it's Jason Garrett and Jerry Jones and Tony Romo. They're like the Yankees, where everyone has an opinion of them, either they love them or they hate them, and no one has ever like. The Cowboys, they're all right. No, it's either I love the Cowboys or I fucking hate the Cowboys. See
yeah, that? I actually don't mind the Cowboys at all. I like them a lot. I have nothing against them at all.
Nick, as a Vikings fan, how dare you like the Cowboys? And Drew Pearson, Roger Staubach, the first Hail Mary, or as we call it up here, the push-off.
Oh, yeah.
And the Herschel
It's
Walker
all about
trade.
the cheerleaders, man. It's about the cheerleaders. It's about the love.
Now everyone's got cheerleaders now.
Yeah, but there's something about Dallas cheerleaders, though. I mean, there's something more.
And it's all contrived. It's like, oh, our original stadium had a hole in the roof so God can look down upon his team. No, you just ran out of money when you were building the roof. Oh. But DeMarco Murray has more rushing yards with 913 than 28 NFL teams, which is ridiculous. And he breaks the NFL record with his 7th straight 100-yard rushing game to start a season. Jim Brown previously held the record with 6. Tony Romo, not playing bad Tony Romo. I think Romo's looking good because they're actually running the ball and they're not putting everything on his plate. And Romo will make mistakes once he has too much pressure on him. And that defense, that no-name defense that lost Sean Lee, Scandrick for a while, everyone thought was going to be garbage, is actually looking pretty damn okay.
Oh yeah, no, it's a whole team effort. I believe. I mean, I think that's how to be a good football team. You gotta have everyone playing really well, or at least not having a weak spot, unlike the Vikings, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, and who knew that offensive line was the way to go, as the Cowboys have spent their last 3 number 1 picks on offensive linemen, not taking Johnny Manziel this year, taking Zach Martin, offensive lineman out of Notre Dame, who is a complete beast and a freak. So who knew that if you put a very good running back and a decent veteran quarterback behind a solid offensive line, that good things can happen on offense? I don't know. Apparently the Vikings forgot about that.
If you could rank every team's offensive line, is Dallas, do you think, a top in the NFL, a top 5 offensive line?
I would have to think about it, but yeah, they're definitely top 5. I wouldn't put it past me to put them number 1 either, because of just the results that we've seen so far with Murray. Tony Romo staying upright, which is very good because he has that back thing. And yeah, I think they're just a very solid, cohesive unit. Tyron Smith's been a little dinged. Doug Free is missing some time, and they're the 2 bookend tackles. But other than that, they're looking pretty
Who's
damn
their
good.
offensive coach?
Well, Jason Garrett got the play calling duties taken away from him. I think it's Scott Linehan. We all remember Scott Linehan.
Oh yes. But for those who don't, why don't you refresh on us?
Well, Scott Linehan was the offensive coordinator for the Vikings for a couple of seasons, and yeah, that's about it. Good times. Then he got the St. Louis Rams job, and he got fired from that. Then he was offensive coordinator for the Lions for a while, and now he's just looked it up. He's the offensive coordinator and passing game coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys.
Neat.
I'm guessing Bill Callahan coordinates the running game, but that's just a guess off the top of my head. And we alluded to a little bit about our complaints about the Vikings already, so we may as well touch that to close up segment 1.
Do we have to?
Nick, the pain of the 2-5, even though we're still quasi alive, 17-16, heartbreaking loss in Buffalo as something called Kyle Orton completes it to something called Scott Chandler on the 4th and 20 right in front of Greenway.
I really don't want to do this segment. And from the beginning of the year, we always said, we had our low thoughts like, we were going to be very optimistic. Like, if we can win at least half of games, we'd be fine. We knew this first stretch of games were going to be hard. We'd be lucky to be where we are. But I think what caused it was that game 1, seeing us just run town on the Rams and then us beating the Falcons was just it gave us so much. We were like, psh, we had a big head, I think, and like just seeing us perform now it's heart-wrenching. There's no words to describe it.
Well, I think there are some silver linings to take out because that defense is starting to really get together.
Yep.
And that defense is the reason that the last 2 games weren't 48-3. And Teddy has had some flashes, but he has looked like a rookie quarterback, and he's definitely not time to write him off as bust water yet, as some of Twitters want to do. Cordero still isn't healthy. I think Jerick McKinnon needs to get the rock more because the kid is going to be a special talent in this league. And that's not just because I have him in a fantasy keeper league that we keep referring to. And everything starts up front with that offensive line. Khalil's taking a step back. Charlie Johnson is what he is. Lode Holtz even regressed a little bit. Sully's injured now with a concussion. He might be out for a while. And, yeah, I think losing Fusco was huge.
I mean, people are going to look for people to blame, and right now they're attacking the offensive line. When do you start attacking the players, and when do you start attacking the coaches? Don't you think the coaches might have a little bit to blame?
Well, Nick, the offensive line are players.
What was that?
They're people too.
Kind of.
They are players.
Sorry. But fans, they want to see results. They want to know why we're not winning, and they're going to look at blaming.
Well, like you said, if we win 8-8 this year, that would be a great season. As this whole rebuild, this whole reboot of the franchise wasn't going to happen in a year, and fans are kind of in the microwave culture. They want it now. And Zimmer, first-year head coach, first-time head coach. Teddy coming in as a late first-round pick, quarterback, going to take some time. I mean, hell, we gave Christian Ponder 3 years.
Oh yeah, you know what? All it's said and done is I says, I'm just, I'm upset at one game right now. It'll pass. I'll always love the Vikings. I'm gonna keep cheering every week. It was a tough game. Yeah, there's nothing else to say about it.
Yeah, and there are a lot of positives to take away from this going forward. The offensive line will get their stuff together. It's very hard to turn it around in mid-season because you're already kind of stuck with what you have as far as personnel, coaching, scheme-wise. So that's kind of hard to turn around. Maybe when we get into the bye in Week 10. But let's remember, we gave Leslie Frazier and Christian Ponder 3 years, and Leslie and Christian were 3-13 that first year, 2011. Remember Donovan McNabb? Remember that, Nick?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about him. Where's he at now?
Yeah, I think he's doing something for Fox Sports 1. But, yeah. All right, so enough about the pain, and we will get to some more fun stuff in our later segments. Coming up, we got fantasy football bitchin', talking about minor league college football. Apparently something called the World Series starts tonight, and maybe a little bit of pop culture in the next segment. Uncle Nick sitting in for Claire-vs-Carlson show, BRB. And coming back from break, Nick is son riding shotgun in this edition of the Claire versus Carlson show. And how do you think your first segment went, Nick?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I think I got an A+.
Even though I couldn't remember Emmanuel Sanders is his name.
No one did.
You know that guy who used to play in Pittsburgh and came from SMU, and yeah, that guy. Who's better than Wes Welker and Eric Decker combined?
If you want to do an apology to him, you should, and then send him the link to the podcast.
Yeah, he'll get over it. Fantasy football bitchin'. And Nick and I, full disclosure, are in the same fantasy league, a 12-team, a 3-keeper league. And we played 2 weeks ago, didn't we, Nick?
Oh, yeah.
And I got my ass handed to me because my team scored 40 points, which is not a lot.
That was wild. I don't know.
Yeah, but you're actually 6-1 in this league, and what's your deal? What's your story? How come you're cheating?
Well, the secret, I think, is you got to find these players that score more points than the opposing person you're playing against. Hey-o.
I think you're running above expectation, though. I think you're running plus EV in this spot.
I honestly believe, since as most people, you viewers probably can tell, I'm not an exact sports expert, know too much about NFL, but it's really been luck. A lot of people I've been playing have had their lousy weeks, and I just happen to, I think, just overcome and have just a few more points than them to continually be winning.
You mean you're trying to say that it was a fluke that Brian Quick scored 2 touchdowns against the Eagles the week that we played, even though he's been garbage ever since? Is that what the fluke you're trying to say?
Yeah. I'm going to go with that.
All right, so I got your team up here, and Peyton Manning is obviously eyed.
Boom.
As a fantasy quarterback, even though he's got -8 yards rushing, so that cost you.
Oh, no.
Yep. Julian Edelman, Mike Evans, Malcolm Floyd, Brian Quick. And then you made a nice call on Ahmad Bradshaw. That was a good pickup. Marshawn Lynch has been kind of eh. You wouldn't trade me Bishop Sankey for Cordero, even though Bishop Sankey is garbage and Sean Green is coming back. Travis Kelce is a thing. Wait, how is it? How is this team 6-1?
I've been doing a lot of trades. Are you looking at my current week, or are you looking at last week?
I'm looking at your current week.
Week 8? Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. I've been doing a lot of trades on and off here. All these players have spark. They have that, you just have to find that right week where they will finally actually play, and then just be smart enough to just, start them. That's how fantasy works. And I've been kind of lucky. And people I play against kind of suck sometimes, so boom.
Yeah, like when they come out and score 40 points.
Yeah.
Because that was the week that Cincinnati played New England and I had their defense, and they scored like -9. Which is hard to do.
Yeah.
Now, are you only holding on to Toby Gerhart because your team name is Toby? Because Toby's garbage and is not getting that job back in Jacksonville.
I don't think he's on my team any. Oh, dude, I'm totally looking at the wrong league. Hang on. Sorry, I have 3 leagues.
Now, see, that's way too many. And I talk about, I chastise Claire about that every week when we talk about fantasy. She's in 5 leagues.
That's insane.
That's way too many. 1 league to rule them all. It's just like NCAA brackets. All right, maybe 2 leagues. Because otherwise you get into the spot where it's like, hey, touchdown Marshawn Lynch. I have him. Oh, wait, no, I'm playing against him in another league. Oh, wait, I'm playing against him in a different league. Oh, wait, I had St. Louis's defense in the other league. Damn it. So you can't just be happy for something good happening. You have to, your happiness is hedged all over the place.
Okay, so
Hedged happiness, HH.
I'll be honest with you and a lot of the viewers who are going to be listening to this. For all my 3 leagues, I do take our league the least serious because there's no money involved.
Well, that's because when we wanted to bring in money, you were like, no, I don't want to play for money.
I don't like playing for money. I always lose. I lost last year. I did pretty awful in all my money leagues.
Well, that's why you should take our league the most serious then, because you got nothing to lose. And of course, you're doing well in the no money league.
I'm actually first in my big money league, the $75 buy-in league that I'm doing with some friends on ESPN, and I am looking forward to win some big bucks.
What's first place? $50?
No, it's no.
Could you
no,
imagine?
it's a 10-person league, $75 each. I'm assuming it's more than 100.
Is it winner take all?
No, I think it breaks to first, second, third, and then I think the person who gets the most points in a season, I think they get like $100. So I currently have the most points, and I'm 7-0.
Now, see, I've played in money leagues before, and I feel like it gets too intense. You know what I mean? Especially if it's, I know $50-$75 isn't a ton of money, but especially as you get down there, you might bring in a couple hundo. That's some nice little beer money, especially when you're in college. And I feel like it can get too intense, a little bit too personal, and you see a trade go through, it's like, oh, I'm going to veto that trade because it's just strategy for me. Screw you guys.
Oh man,
that came out a little Cartman at the end.
You guys, yeah, I know. So yeah, with this big money league I'm in, these are friends I grew up with, elementary school, high school, and like, yeah, man, people, and I'm an easygoing guy, but a lot of my good friends, they're doing some harsh words after a bad defeat. You see a different side of people when you play fantasy. And the one thing I do enjoy about the league that you and I in, Andy, is that we're good college friends, and all the trash talking is more fun than actual seriousness. My other leagues, I think they're pretty serious and pretty cutthroat. So.
Now, see, lighthearted bragging rights is all that fantasy football should be about. But when it gets monetary, where you're actually like upset for the next 3 days because you lost by half a point because Bishop Sankey like ran for negative yards on his last play, that's too much. Like, could you imagine? All right, so this guy in our league, one of my old college roommates, Brent, and he lost, I believe, as a playoff game to me, where it was something random. Like Phillip Rivers took 3 knees at the end of the game, and he ended up losing to me by like half a point or something like that.
We remember that
because that's negative 2 yards every play, and then it adds up to negative 0.6 or something like that. And could you imagine if that was like $100 league and that was $1,000 swing?
Oh yeah, no,
especially to a college kid, that's a crazy amount of money.
I bet you're gonna get some arguments about.
There'd be a homicide.
Like, do you prefer leagues that do decimal points versus some that don't? I know ESPN used to, when I tried setting up my own league, like, I didn't see any decimal points when I did it. I'm like, where the hell are the decimal points? And we got more upset. But then again, you have the situation with Brent, who lost by a decimal place. I mean, that's, you get so upset. He was mad.
Decimals is the way to go, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, are any of your other leagues, are they standard scoring, PPR? Where are they?
All standard scoring. I never understood how PPR, what do you call it, however that works.
It's pretty simple, Nick.
I don't think so.
You get a point per reception.
Per reception? Wow.
Yeah. So in PPR scoring, it would make sense why Julian Edelman's your number one receiver.
Because he's targeted so much?
He gets a ton of targets. He's a little slot guy. He's a big slot.
Slot.
Spread his slottiness all over the place.
Does that work with like running backs too every time they get the ball?
Yeah. So that's why Matt Forte is a complete beast, not only in standard scoring, but definitely in PPR. Because he's getting like 6-7 catches a game.
Okay.
Yep. What about the other leagues? Are they keeper leagues, like our little fun nonchalant league that apparently you don't care about? Nope, the rest of ones are just standard leagues. So there's only 2 of them. One that I was actually commissioner for, and I don't know, I've never commissionered stuff before, and holy crap, there's a lot of stuff you need to know about setting up a football league, like how points work and stuff, and if you want to set it up like a certain way or allow so many players to have so many players in your league to have so many players themselves. It's not really, because again, this is like the podcast thing. If I can be the commissioner of our league, anybody can be a commissioner. I mean, come on, Nick.
I don't know. I wish I knew a little bit more. Was a little bit better at it. Like understanding how defenses scoring works. It's just so much.
You've been the only commissioner to be removed due to a sexual harassment scandal, correct?
I believe talk to my lawyers about that. I believe what I'm going to say right now is no comment.
I got no comment. Now, our current format is 3 keepers in exchange for your first 3 draft picks the next season. It's pretty standard now how that works. What are your thoughts on the keeper status of our league?
I know done before, and I liked it because I was lucky in my team last year. I had Peyton Manning and Marshawn Lynch, and
who's your third keeper, Nick?
Yeah, we won't.
Marvin Jones. Who?
He had some points last year.
He had one game where he had 4 touchdowns. That's about it.
That was phenomenal in the record book.
Did you start him?
You gotta talk to my lawyer about that. No comment on that one. I made one mistake in our league, and I'm still on top, baby.
I don't know. You got a tough schedule coming up. You might lose out. I'm kind of hopeful for that.
Who am I playing this week?
Well,
I think I'm playing Nick.
Well, I got your roster up right now. Who are going to be your 3 keepers going into next year? Are you still going to use a keeper on Lynch? Because Lynch, I don't know, wearing down, hitting that running back wall. I think he's about 30 years of age. That's typically where it is, and Seattle might not even keep him around next year.
We'll see. I don't have to decide until the offseason, right? Before we draft, right?
I think you should keep her 2 quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
And then also Brian Quick.
Well, we'll see about Quick.
And Bishop Sankey.
How about Brandon Davis? Should I keep him too?
And Marvin Jones again.
Okay, wait. I'm keeping 12 people now. We're going a little too far here.
Nick's already got his 12 draft picks locked up for next year.
Yeah. The thing about football. I mean, things change year to year. I mean, people you think are going to be great are on the injured reserve thing. God damn it, Marvin Jones.
Now, Brent, the guy in the league that we talked about earlier, pointed out an interesting little factoid that I only have 2 of the original 15 guys that I drafted onto my team, including the 3 keepers. Now, see, I don't know if I just like making moves and making trades of people, or if I'm just really shitty at drafting.
Yeah, this has been an unusual year. I mean, who knew all these injuries would happen to so many people? Some people become breakout stars. You gotta actively watch the game and pick up the ones who are doing hot in order to keep winning.
Because the 3 keepers that came into the league with were Cordero, Doug Martin, and Alfred Morris. Now
Martin.
I traded Morris. I eventually traded Martin for like 5 cents on the dollar, and Cordero doesn't look long for this world. I know he got a touchdown Sunday, but that was a garbage touchdown. He doesn't look right. He's still not an NFL caliber wide receiver yet, and yeah, who knows. I am pretty happy that I traded for McKinnon, and since there are no moral judgments in fantasy football, I did pick up Adrian. Since this is a keeper league and all.
Oh, yeah, okay. I get where you're going with that.
Yeah, and then as soon as Adrian is running the ball for the Raiders next year, I think he's going to go off.
You don't think he's going to go Dallas?
That would be the most Dallas thing to do because DeMarco Murray is in a contract year, so Murray still might get hurt this year, or Jerry Jones might just let him walk and then trade like a 3rd-round pick to the Vikings for Adrian, which is something that they'll take because I think the Vikings are just going to cut Adrian either way because of the legal troubles, his age, his contract coming up and remaining, and the small cap hit they would take if they do just cut him. I think that all plays into a reason why Adrian's never going to play for the Vikings again. And I could see that scenario happening. Jerry Jones didn't get his way on Manziel, even though it is working out, so he might put his foot down and be like, all right, this is what's happening. We're getting Adrian, we're running the ball.
Is that you in
I'm Jerry Jones.
Oh man, you're like a natural Frank Caliendo there.
I thought you were gonna say Nash Bridges.
You're kind of like that, but no.
I still think it makes too much sense. You know what I mean? Because Jerry Jones is getting up there in age, and this could be his one little walked out the door. I'm going to bring Adrian in. Adrian still has a very small outside chance at the all-time rushing record, which is held by Emmitt Smith, the Cowboy. and Emmitt Smith set the record as a Cowboy. Wouldn't Jerry love 4 or 5 seasons down the road, if Adrian is still managing to play at like 34, 35 years of age, that Adrian breaks the record in Cowboy Stadium in Jerry World with Emmitt Smith on hand, and it's the biggest Cowboy masturbation love fest ever.
Very optimistic.
Ever.
Well, kind of backtracking a little bit. Where is AP? Like, are people tracking him? Like, where is he doing all this time? Is he staying in Minnesota, or is he staying in Texas, where all this, where all the trial stuff is taking place?
Well, he was in Minnesota for a spell. He's with the team when, Ziggy was like, all right, he's going to play. And then they got all that backlash and sponsors start pulling out. And then they're like, all right, he's not going to play because it's the right thing to do. And I think he has been in Minnesota some. He's definitely been down in Texas. And then he had that whole weed thing. I don't even remember if anything's come out of that. I don't think his bond's been revoked. And set for trial should be coming up January, I believe, unless some other cases get dropped from the docket. And yeah, Adrian, he's going to fight this, and that's his right to. And we'll see how it plays out, because even if he's found not guilty somehow, and I think he'll still be subject to discipline from the NFL. And this whole weed thing, I don't know if that plays a part, since this is his first offense in that in the substance abuse program. And I guess we'll see. I think he'll definitely be on another team 2015. Will he be suspended for maybe like the first 4 or 6 games of the 2015 season? I don't know. But he definitely won't be in Minnesota, so he won't be our problem.
I wonder if anyone's going to go after him for the weed. I mean, like...
Well, it was a part of his bond agreement from the charges that you got to have a clean piss test, and if you break that,
did the results come out yet?
I don't know. I've been following it, but basically, he admitted to the sample collector that he smoked a little weed, and it would be funny though if his piss test came back clean.
That's totally what I was thinking in the back of my head. Like what if it like this a little puff, and it just even show up but like admitting it. I wonder what whoever the drug dealer was who the prime the weed is thinking is like. You think he's going to one of his baby mamas thinking, hey, look, I'm on TV. AP, he got weed.
I don't think Adrian specifically brought in a drug dealer. Probably just someone in his entourage was relaxing. Adrian, this has got to be a stressful time for him, and definitely not condoning his actions as it was dumb for him to do, as it was part of his bond agreement. But probably took a little something, try and take the edge off a little bit, just like someone having a drink or something else. And see, the thing about Adrian is that he's brutally honest, and he wasn't going to lie in that spot. And I think that's good and bad. It is kind of refreshing because he has set his mind a lot, as a player with football related stuff. Because remember when he came out saying that Michael Vick would make the Vikings a playoff team.
Oh. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm assuming that's where you're going to put in that sound effect.
Yeah. And he doesn't really have filter. He speaks his mind, and that is refreshing. But I think that also played into when he was talking to police about the child abuse things. He was honest. He said his piece, said what he did, and he wasn't going to backtrack. And I think that same thing happened with the drug sample collectors. Like, I smoked a little weed. What of it? Oh, all right. Can't do that? All right.
Can we go back a second? When we were talking about the sponsorships that pulled out because of Adrian, did any of them come back?
Radisson was pretty much the only headliner that dropped out. They have not come back. Pepsi is the new sponsor on the press conference backgrounds. I think that was revealed the other day this week.
Okay.
But it is kind of sad because Adrian was one of my favorite Vikings players, and this fall from grace was just so quick and wrong. And, well, not wrong as, he kind of made his own bed in this, and I've already said my piece on the Purple Fruin podcast that find his actions atrocious and is explaining away. And yeah, but we don't really need to get into that. I merely brought him up because of fantasy football purposes, because I'm a wheeler and dealer. Lamar Miller, Mo Sanu, Ronnie Hillman, Odell Beckham Jr. Let's do this. I didn't even know who half these people were at the start of the season.
That's what makes fantasy awesome. You're learning about all these players who they probably were in the league for years, just random third, fourth wide receivers that are now just making a big break now.
I'm going to ride that to the championship. And since we are in opposite divisions, I'm in the country and you're in the Western Division because we're funny like that. We're going to meet in the championship, Nick, and I'm going to take the T-Jack away from you. Oh, wait, you don't even have the T-Jack.
No, Brian does.
Yeah. Also, our fantasy football trophy is a plate which has previous winners inscribed on it and a Tavares Jackson Vikings jersey. Come on, baby.
The cricket noises going on right now.
The Jack. All right, touching on college football real quick because it would be rude not to. Number 2, Florida State beat number 5 Notre Dame in a classic showdown, 31-27 down in Tallahassee. Jameis Winston played, even though there was some question that he might not have. Notre Dame scored what appeared to be the game-winning touchdown late in the game. A goal send to Dave Robinson's kid, but offensive pass interference was called correctly, I guess. But Notre Dame covered the 11.5, and that's all that matters. Bye-bye.
Oh, you had to bring that. I was watching clips of it 2 nights ago. I pulled up on ESPN. Gosh, I cannot believe they called offensive. I'm someone who doesn't know anything about penalties and any type of stuff, but like what a time for a ref to look at that position, look right there, and make a call on that.
Well,
and
it was so blatant, and Notre Dame got away with a similar play like that early in the game, and I think Jimbo Fisher pulled her aside like, hey, ref, you got to watch him on the holds, offense pass interference. That's my Jimbo Fisher impression. That's actually pretty spot on. Because that dude
actually sound good. Yeah.
Jimbo Fisher talks like his actual Christian given name is Jimbo. It's not like James or Jim or anything like that. No, it's Jimbo on the birth certificate.
Overall, though, I mean, it was a good game. I mean, good scoring game. Right?
Jameis Winston's our quarterback.
Poor Quasimodo on that team.
Yeah, but it is refreshing. Notre Dame did play physical. They were able to stack up man for man against Florida State. They didn't get trucked like in the 2012 championship against Alabama. And it is refreshing if they can run the table. I think they still have a shot to make the Final Four, depending how this plays out. But overall, kind of a meh week for college football. Not a ton of great games. This Florida State Notre Dame one being the exception. Alabama jacked poor Claire's Texas A&M Aggies 59-0. Sack Claire.
I was assuming maybe this game had something to do with her being sick because I didn't know exactly why she was.
No, it's a real shame that, or it's a real good thing that Kenny Hill got Kenny Trill trademarked because he's going to need it. He's been selling a lot of T-shirts. The Gophers. Oh, what am I talking about? No great games. The Gophers survived 39-38 at home against hapless Purdue. I'm going to start saying we now because I'm on the bandwagon. 6-1, 3-0 in the Big Ten. Alone at the top of the Big Ten West, but really the Big Ten Legends division. Nick, are you excited?
Yeah, I live a couple miles from the Gopher Stadium. I'm very honored that, obviously I did not go to U of M. Being from Minnesota, I'm going to consider it that being my my alum. So
there are default geographical college football team, even though they sucked when we were growing up and as young adults. I mean, the Glenn Mason years were all right, but then the Tim Brewster was vomit.
Being from Minnesota, I'm sure you've talked about being a Minnesota fan. It's hard because none of our teams produce that well.
Hashtag Minnesota sports.
Yeah, the Lynx are good too, but women's sports, that we'll forget that. It's great to see a football team, even though it's not the NFL. It's great to see a Minnesota football team that's going to get good recognition. Hopefully, we're going to make it to a popular bowl game this year. Something that's not the, like the Roundy's Bowl. Or...
the Gophers are going to end up 6-7, and they'll play in like the Inside.com Bowl. Or whatever the lowest tier Big Ten Bowl is.
The Big Pen Bowl.
Although Wisconsin's down this year, I think Iowa can get got as well. And since we already beat Michigan, I think the Gophers, might bring home all 3 of the trophies this year. Paul Bunny and Zach's, Floyd the Pig, and the Little Brown Jug, where I got that.
When do we play Florida? Wisconsin, sorry.
I don't know, sometime. It's at Camp Randall this year.
Wait, what is that?
So that might be a little tough. Wisconsin's home stadium.
Oh. Neat. Learn something new every time I watch the show. I listen to it.
Yes. And besides, growing up, do you remember the Gophers when they played the Dome and then they had like 10 people there?
No, I don't remember that.
Good times. But wrapping up segment 2, since we got our mandatory college football segment out of the way, it's usually a lot bigger, but Claire's not here. She's very big into the college football, and also this weekend was just kind of definitely wasn't excited, did not live up to the hype of the week before, but then again, what really can. So just wrapping up with a couple minutes. Pop culture. Nick, what's going on in the world of Hollywood, music, TV, pornography, what?
Whoa, I don't think we have enough time to talk about all the pornography stuff that goes on that I do follow, but let's see, random stuff I've been following. The World Series is coming up this tonight, right? They're playing tonight, game 1.
We're gonna be Royals.
Yes, and funny story I saw on all the websites was that San Francisco is going to ban the Lorde song Royals.
Because it's terrible.
It's not bad.
Actually, I like it.
I may have downloaded it a couple times, and I watch the music video every once in a while because she's like that kind of quirky hot. I mean, not like Zooey Deschanel, but she's not bad. Almost like a lighter version of like Emma Stone a little bit. Makes sense. So I don't know. I don't see the point of banning a song. I mean, I'm not one who's all into superstition or anything about.
Well, is it still really big and heavy rotation on like top 40 stations? Because it's been out for a while.
I wouldn't say top 40 stations, but that kind of variety stations, like what do we have here in the Twin Cities? Like Cities 97 or 94.5, KS 95. It's that variety section because it's like it's adult alternative pop, so it can spread over multiple wavelengths. That's why I think it's semi, I think, a big deal. But then again, I don't know what type of music they listen to in San Francisco. Maybe they only have a bunch of, maybe they only have a bunch of country stations. Or hip-hop.
You know who Lorde looks like?
What?
She looks like a combination of Kimberly Williams Paisley in Father of the Bride, with that big poofy hair.
I love it.
And Anne Hathaway in The Princess Diaries, like the before, with like the frizzy hair.
Oh, yeah, I can kind of see that.
And I really hate that I know specifically those two looks from those two movies.
I think the lighter Emma Stone, I think nails it a little bit more.
It's pinpoint accuracy. But she's a Kiwi, right?
A Kiwi? Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh no, there's a side-by-side photo where someone compared Lorde to Gollum, and that's mean.
Oh.
Smeagol says we'll be royals.
That was probably your best impression you did all of this.
All right, so this is the mandatory baseball segment. Nick, who do you got winning in the World Series, the Royals or the Giants? And all that garbage starts tonight.
How the Royals have been doing so far, I'm gonna say they're gonna keep going. I bet they're gonna take the San Fran in 5 games.
Yeah, I want the Royals to win too, and not just because I bet them to win before the wild card round. Minor details. All right, so that has been segment 2 in the books. Lock it up, and we'll be back with a little bit of Triviasun NFL Record Edition. Also, the Week 8 picks, Week 7 picks recap, which was a bloodbath, and maybe we'll get Claire on the phone. Claire-vs-Carlson show, BRB. And coming back from halftime of this week's Claire-vs-Carlson show, still here with Uncle Nick at Nickerson on the Twitter machine. Claire is out. She's in the hospital. She went under the knife. Thank you for your well wishes. She is fine. But unfortunately, talked to her during the break. She will not be joining us for this segment. And they're still waiting on her discharge, which is weird because you think that discharge is something that you'd want to get cleaned up before you leave the hospital.
I'm wishing you the best, Claire. Can't wait for you to come back next week.
No, I don't really like hospitals, mostly because it's like the smell just kind of creeps me out. The whole sterile, along with like specter of death and mucus and pus and discharge, and it all comes together in a soup. All the nurses are wearing like white kid shoes, and I don't know.
It's one of those things where like, you're happy that we're living in an age where we have good hospitals, but obviously, if you're at a hospital, you know you're not there for a good reason. No one goes to the hospital because, oh, man, I'm feeling great. Let's just hang out this hospital all day. No, it's usually there for a health serious issue that needs to be fixed that they can't fix at like a Walmart. So,
or a Rite Aid or a Walgreens or a Stride Rite.
CVS.
Or the Heart Attack Grill in Vegas.
We totally missed that this last
Probably
trip.
a good thing. It's probably one of the reasons that you're still alive.
Yes. Yep. I'm very happy we're not there.
All right, so enough ragging on the hospitals before we lose our Texas Presbyterian Hospital, or whatever the Ebola hospital is, sponsorship. Trivia-a-sun in segment 3.
You are really dumb. For real.
And with Peyton Manning setting the all-time touchdown record previously held by Bert Favore, and DeMarco Murray breaking Jim Brown's record of consecutive 100-yard rushing games to start a season. Nick has 10 NFL record-related trivia questions for me. This is kind of our thing since I'm kind of a blatant know-it-all, and Nick enjoys looking up things on Wikipedia, so I figure it's a win-win.
I love Wikipedia, everyone. Sorry.
Yeah, and we do have some fun little sound effects that Nick cannot hear, which adds to the fun. So, of course, we have the... And for a right answer, I got the ding. And for a wrong answer, I got the... And also, just for funsies, I got the... No whammies, no whammies, no whammies, stop. I'm having way too much fun with this. All right, 10 questions, Nick. And hand to God, Scout's honor, I am not Googling these, so it's not going to be like, oh, I don't really know the answer. Now, what is that? O.J. Simpson. Not going to be like that. All right, so Nick, what do we got?
All right. First of all, I want to thank Wikipedia for supplying me all these answers, and this is Wikipedia, so I did double check, try to make sure that all these answers are accurate and up to date. As of 2014, if listeners are going to... So
you're telling me that an encyclopedia that anyone can edit is not always accurate?
Yes, I am. But, in our case, who really wants to go up and make up all crap answers? So, let's... are you ready to start this?
Anybody got time for that? Lego.
Question 1. Which team has scored the most touchdowns per season?
The most touchdowns per season.
I believe it's regular season, too.
All right, so which franchise has scored the most touchdowns in NFL history?
Yes. In a
single season.
Yep, sorry.
07 Patriots.
Denver Broncos.
Oh, so last year?
Yep. 76. I had to double check because I originally had the Patriots from 07, but then a different page pulled up that Broncos had 76 versus 75. I know, right?
Balls. All right, 0 for 1. But as always, the answers do not matter, and the points do not matter.
But it does matter. All right, so number 2. Which team has the most Super Bowl wins?
The Steelers with 6.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Correct.
Had to break good times. Come on. And it looks like they were playing the Super Bowl last night against Claire's Texans, where they scored 24 points in 3 minutes. I'm sorry, Claire. How's the team even do that?
Were the Steelers just that good, or did the Texans just make that many mistakes?
No, it's probably just against Claire's team, and I feel so bad.
I'm sorry, Claire.
As this is 3 straight weeks that the Texans and her Texas A&M Aggies have lost. So she's hit the parlay of sadness for 3 consecutive weeks.
Oh,
yeah. But moving on to happier things. Ain't nobody got time for Claire.
With these Super Bowl wins, do they have was Terry Bradshaw part of these, or
Bradshaw had 4 of them, and then they won. Their 5th one was in Detroit with Jerome Bettis and Roethlisberger, where Roethlisberger had like the worst statistical game of a Super Bowl winning quarterback ever. And then the 6th one was against the Cardinals in Tampa, I believe. Roethlisberger, hitting Santonio Holmes in the corner of the end zone. Holmes getting his very edge of his tippy toes into the corner of the end zone.
Oh yeah,
which sucks because Larry Fitzgerald had put the Cardinals ahead on that long touchdown catch, and he had a beast of a playoffs that year. He's a shell of himself now, and he's way overpaid. But back then, Larry Fitzgerald was a boss back with Kurt Warner, and they were just a toenail away from winning a Super Bowl. And Larry Fitzgerald had the game-winning score, but oh well.
That's all it takes is a toe.
Larry Fitzgerald, the pride of the Academy of Holy Angels in the Twin Cities,
like a boss.
Yeah. But then he went to Pitt instead of going to the University of Minnesota, so, screw him.
All right, question 3. Which team has the most losses in a single season?
I feel like this is a trick question. Because you want me to say the 2008 Lions was 16. It's got to be the right answer, right?
Correct.
All right. I was gonna say that one felt like a trick question.
I'm trying to trick you, so.
Oh, all right.
And I kind of totally forgot about that, and like when I saw that,
Rod Marinelli and Matt Millen, John Kitna, Dante Culpepper did not get his roll on.
Oh man, I cannot believe it. I mean, I'm laughing now because the Detroit's doing way cool now, but I mean, holy crap. I got 16 now. So that means the Vikings won 2 games that year. At least 2.
And I think the Vikings won by a combined 3 points in the 2 games that the Lions played because those were the 2 closest games. Obviously.
Only the Vikings can struggle with the Lions.
2008 Vikings. T-Jack.
T-Jack.
Next.
All right. I'm squinting looking at this computer. I need glasses. All right, so which team holds the record for the most consecutive games won in the regular season? In regular season play only.
I think it's still the Patriots because I think they won like 20 straight regular season games during their Super Bowl run.
So I'm talking about regular season, so.
Yeah.
Final answer?
Yes.
The Colts. 23 from 2008 to 2009.
Okay, so then they broke it then. Yeah, because I do remember that the Patriots, like the Teddy Bruschi, Willie McGinnis era Patriots, have like 20 straight regular season wins, but well.
Not bad, though. Was that Peyton Manning was still with the Colts, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. And he's the reason we're having this record. Ooh, Inception.
Jerk. I'm going to go order some Godfathers later. Get some Geico insurance.
I have Geico.
Buy a GMC instead of a Buick. Oh, wait, no, that's the same company anyways. I'm going to buy a Chrysler instead of a Buick.
There's no more Chrysler.
That's true.
Why don't you go Saturn? Oh, wait, there's no more Saturn. Oldsmobile. Dope. Okay. Backtracking. Okay. So, question 5 or 6? 5. All right. In his career, who returned the most interceptions for a touchdown?
Most interceptions for a touchdown.
In his whole career.
All right, so Paul Krause has the all-time interception record, except I don't think he returned a ton because I know he only returned 3. It's Deion Sanders, maybe. It's a safety, though. So like Ronnie Lott, or heck, maybe even Darren Sharper, because he always seemed to return touchdowns. I'm going to say Deion Sanders.
Final answer?
Sure.
It's Rod Woodson. With 12, he played for the Steelers and the Ravens. He might be a little bit older than. I don't think it was. This isn't like a recent player. I think he.
No. Rod Woodson was like in the 90s.
90s, yeah.
That's a shame.
So, that's incredible, though. That would have been good fantasy points. All right, next question. In his career, who has the longest interception return yardage? He's also credited for the longest interception return in the NFL with 108 yards.
Huh. All right. Give me a hint. Is it recent?
Within the last 6 years, yes.
Antonio Cromartie?
Final answer?
Sure.
Ed Reed.
Damn it, Ed Reed. I always forget Ed Reed because he's an old, broken down old man towards the end of his career. Played for the Texans for like a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I forgot where he played for. We got this. I think my stats were saying he got like 106 and 108. So he has like the first two like longest yard returns for a touchdown.
Yeah, that had to be with the Ravens.
Okay, yeah, Ravens. Yep.
He ain't definitely returned those when he's with the Texans or the Jets for a cup of coffee. All right. Next.
Okay, now a little bit. These last four shouldn't be too bad. Who has the most rushing touchdowns in his career? And I think you kind of mentioned them earlier.
Now, see, I always have these. I'm gonna triple and quadruple guess myself now because I want to say it's Emmitt Smith, but then O.J. Simpson, Jim Brown, except they played in 14-game seasons, and plus Jim Brown only played X number of years because career short. So I guess I have to go with Emmitt Smith.
Final answer?
Sure.
Correct.
Hey, finally.
He played from 90 to 2004. How crazy. That's insane. That's 14. Oh, my God.
That's a long way. The game where the Cardinals knocked the Vikings out of the playoffs, remember, McCown and Nate Poole in the corner end zone? That was Emmitt Smith's last career NFL game.
Oh, wow.
The more you know. And also, fun fact, Nate Poole, teammates with Randy Moss in 1997 at Marshall University.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
And obviously you did, because you're just a random...
more you know.
Yes, a random trivia machine. Okay, next question. Who has the most rushing touchdowns in a single season?
You want to say it's LaDainian Tomlinson. And I think I am going to say LaDainian Tomlinson.
Final answer?
Sure.
Correct.
Yeah, baby.
28.
It's a lot.
What's he now?
He's with NFL Network, I think. He played a couple of seasons with the Jets after being let go from San Diego. And yeah. Now, I kind of wish we were at fantasy football back in those days because LaDainian Tomlinson would be a beast.
Oh, yeah. No, easily. Yeah, I remember him. Oh, man.
All right. How many questions we got left?
2 more. Is that good? Is that good for you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Who has the most passing yards in his career?
Passing yards.
Yardage.
All right. Now, is that the Dan Marino record or is it the Favre? I feel like Favre's got a whole bunch of these records. They would have mentioned it if Manning had it. Brady, not even close. Let's see who else could possibly have it. Breeze, except I don't think he's been around long enough. He had those down years in San Diego. So it's either Favre or Marino. I think Tarkington might have had it initially, but then, time happened. I'm going to guess Bert Lorenzo Favre.
Final answer?
Sure.
Correct.
Hey.
Seventh,
Nice.
I have here written down 71,838.
That's kind of a lot.
Ouch.
All right,
Well,
so
how many
I'm
miles is on
guessing
my
it
card?
was initially Tarkenton had it, then Marino broke it, then Favre broke Marino.
I think so.
All right.
Oh, damn, Marino.
I like my train of thought. Isotoner gloves.
All right. The final question. Who has the most pass receptions of his career? In his career.
Who has the most catches?
Yes, pass receptions.
Jerry Rice.
Final answer? You're not gonna think about that?
Yep.
Correct.
Jerry Rice has like ridiculous records.
Jerry Fried Rice. Yep. 1,549.
I think that one might get broken since all this pass happiness in this league now.
Oh, God, I wonder who. Can you think of anyone who's even close right now? Like current players?
I'm gonna bring it up. Talk amongst yourselves. I think that Emmitt Smith's all-time rushing record is going to be safe, though, because I think Adrian did have a shot at it. Since I think Adrian has about a little over 8,000 yards, the record is like 13,000 some change. But now with Adrian basically taking this year off, I think it might send him behind now.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yep. So Jerry Rice, 1,549 receptions. Number 2, it's going to be surprising. Tony Gonzalez, 1,325.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I forgot, yeah.
Then it goes Marvin Harrison at 3, our boy Chris Carter at 4, Tim Brown, Terrell Owens. Reggie Wayne is the highest active one with at 7 with 1,044. So he's 36, so he's got 0 chance of catching him. Let's see, a couple more actives. Randy Moss comes in at 10 with 982, just shy of 1,000. Let's see, Andre Johnson at 11. Jason Witten, 16, has no shot. Anquan Bolden, 34, has no shot. So all these guys high up there are at least 31 and older. Like Larry Fitzgerald is 20th at age 31 with 869, so he's got no shot. I'm just scrolling down to see who actually might have a chance at the 1,549. Calvin Johnson is 65th with 594. So he's basically 1,000 receptions behind, and he's already 29 years of age. So, yeah, sorry, Megatron.
I cannot believe that. Wow.
Tony Gonzalez?
No, Jerry Rice. No, I mean, that's just phenomenal. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, there's not even a guy who's like 24, 25 years of age who's even in the top 250.
How many years I think Jerry Rice has been there a while, hasn't he? And he played quite a number of years.
I think he played 20 years.
I mean,
or pretty close. He played from 85 to 2004.
I mean, if you can find someone who can last 20 plus years, I mean, maybe, I mean, wow, I mean, because football lifestyle, I mean, you typically don't. It isn't like the average lifespan of a football player. It's like 4 years.
It's something like that. So a 20-year career, especially at wide receiver, is just nuts. Yeah, and like I said, there's not even anyone coming remote close on the top 250. I guess maybe. No, he's not gonna get there.
I mean, the game is becoming more of a passing game, but because there's more than one person you can throw it to. I mean, the options are open, and you're spreading out. It's gonna be a lot harder for people to do it.
Well, Jerry Rice was the primary target in that first ever West Coast offense. The Bill Walsh quick passing game. So he was the one putting up a whole bunch of stats as Joe Montana's primary options, and it wasn't the Air Coryell deep throw down vertical passing game. It's more the horizontal underneath game that we see a lot now. So Jerry Rice running a lot of short routes, short timing routes, getting these 3, 4, 5 yard receptions, and those pile up.
Incredible. Wow, Rice? What does he do now? Pretty much.
I think he's just a Van Heusen model.
Van Heusen?
Yeah, something like that. All right. So how'd I do? I feel like I got 4.
You got. I believe you got. I believe you got 4.
Damn it.
Maybe 5. Wait, maybe 5. Let me see. 1. I wasn't keeping. Track.
What? Nick, you said the points matter.
It don't matter. No. I'm sorry. No, you got 6 right.
Damn right. 6 is still a passing grade, baby.
Hells yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. You got the last 4 right. Emmett Smith, LaDainian, Brett, and Jerry, and then you got the you got the Lions one right and the Steelers. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, 6. Nice job.
All right, but overall, 6 out of 10, even though there were tougher questions, is still worthy of the. Unfortunately, but so that was Triviasun, first ever time on the Claire-vs-Carlson show. Nick sitting in for Claire. We'll come back for our last segment. We have our week 8 picks, and we'll recap how we've done so far. Claire is somehow, I don't know how, leading. I mean, what is this wizardry?
She's incredible.
Yep. We'll be back and finish up with a little bit of nonsense. This week's episode 9 of the Claire-vs-Carlson show, BRB.
And here we go.
And bringing her home in the last Ben Lessel segment of this week's Claire-vs-Carlson show, Uncle Nick sitting in for Claire, who is hoping to get out of the hospital. She recently had a little procedure. Everything is fine. We are good to go. We tried to get her for a little segment on the show, but she hasn't been released from the hospital yet. But that would have been fun since she's pretty hopped up on the painkillers, if you know what I mean.
That would have been for an awesome segment.
All right, so we got our Week 8 picks. Claire, after a little bit of clerical error, she is still leading by 4, but the records are she is 65 and 41, and I'm underrated 61 and 45. Yeah, that must be it. And it's unfortunate because I got so many opportunities to catch up, and I think this is going to be the week.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, this season's been totally messed up. I don't know. There's so unpredictable games.
See, I want her to make her picks on the pain meds because I think she would have fallen off a little bit. I've been like, so Claire, who's going to win San Diego or Denver? Sandwich. And I would write that down because I have scrupulous morals like that when it comes to pick 'em.
The Bulls will win.
And the stakes, if you remember, whoever has the best 17-week regular season record gets to pick the loser's Twitter avatar for the duration of the playoffs. So fun times.
Do you have your picture picked up for her already?
I don't know. See, I don't know if I want to go full out sleazeball or I don't want to go too dirty. That's not really my style. I'm just kidding. Don't want to make it explicit, and I don't know. Maybe something painful, like just like the Texans and the Texas A&M Aggies record. Just put that on like a MS Paint. And put it there. Of course, I can't really talk since the Vikings have been pooping up the joint.
What do you think she's gonna do? I bet you do a Vikings thing, very negative. Vikings.
I don't know. I bet she'll do something gross, like Meg Ryan topless.
What?
That was a Family Guy reference. Meg Ryan topless in the cut. No thanks. No thanks.
I'm done.
Yep. I wonder what might be Prince related, or trying to think. She's really into like death metal, so maybe it'll be like Judas Priest avatar. You know what kind of music?
They're not death metal. Oh my god.
Or whatever, like Gwar. How about that? Is that death metal? Slipknot.
Gwar and Slipknot, I would be.
ICP.
That's completely no.
I see urine.
Do you remember that? Do you remember the SNL skit where they did the music festivals and what
Ass Dan.
Ass Dan.
Rest in peace, Ass Dan.
Like Thunder Fist and like all these random band names.
All right. So before we get into picks, did you see that SNL ratings so far are the lowest they've been ever?
Yeah. Which I'm really shocked. The episodes have not been too bad at all. First episode obviously was a little rough. I wasn't a big fan of Sarah Silverman either, but it wasn't. They weren't bad at all. It's just I don't know. I think a lot of people like me, Saturday nights, I usually go out. I don't watch them live. I always watch them Sunday morning, usually on Hulu. But I actually thought the last episode was actually pretty funny. I thought they had a lot of good skits. That's kind of how SNL I think is now. You have like a full season and there's like one or two really laugh out loud classic ones, and then just the rest of it's kind of eh. They keep changing the cast too much and all the writings and everything. It's hard to I think it's hard to develop a good audience. You keep changing everyone and getting rid of anyone. They got rid of Nassim and Noël Wells. I was so upset about that this season. So, sorry, my little SNL rant.
Why are you upset, Nick?
They were so cute.
Well, Nassim is on that Mulaney show now, right?
Mulaney.
And Noël Wells is working at the soup kitchen now, right?
Like all comedians, I think she's probably back with. I think she's Second City. I think is where she came from. A lot of comedians who go on SNL are usually from those improv comic tours that are so popular. I think they probably went back to that, if anything.
Which is a shame because, like you said, Noël Wells, hot.
She was a cutie. She was that quirky cutie. Yeah.
Like Lorde.
Yeah, like Lorde. I put her above Lorde, actually.
All right. When you're on next time, we'll have to do celebrity face rankings.
Face rankings. Okay. All
right, but let's get into the picks. Like I said, Claire is leading by 4 games, but I got some hope. We differ on a couple of picks this week, and I think we'll get it done. And Nick, you have some Week 8 picks as well?
Yes. If there's anything people want to listen to, it's the guy who knows the least about football and doing his picks.
All right, let's do that. As always, I made my picks first. I got Claire's picks while she was on the morphine drip, so maybe there's a little bit of consternation in there. And then Nick, whenever I read off the game, why don't you tell me who's going to win and why, starting with Thursday Night Football. San Diego Chargers at the Denver Broncos. Claire has the Broncos winning at home. I got the Chargers in an upset. Nick, what say you?
You're gonna love this. Actually, I'm picking the Chargers too.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, so we're doomed.
I want the Broncos to win, but I'm doing that whole reverse psychology type of thing because I love Peyton Manning. I'm thinking Phillip Rivers is a beast, though, and I think the Broncos, they're on that high horse. They might get a little. They might. I would not be surprised if they fall off, and they're going to fall off. Their best bet's going to be they're going to fall off to the Chargers.
Why do you want the Broncos to win, Nick?
Fantasy.
I suppose. All right, but Peyton could throw for 6 touchdowns, all of them to Ronnie Hillman for some reason, then San Diego could still win, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't bother me.
There you go. And just looking at this, Claire and I differ on 7 games this week. So this is the theme for Week 8 Pick'em. It makes sense because this is the middle of the season, that this is where the rubber meets the road. Well, it's not the exact middle of the season, is it? That'd be Week 9, I guess, in a 17-week season. But whatever. Mumble Peg. First noon game, technically noon game, but it's playing in London, Detroit at Atlanta. Atlanta is terrible, as Detroit is both Claire and my picks. Nick, who's going to win this game over in jolly London town?
I got the Lions. Defense.
Why?
Defense, baby.
Yeah, and Atlanta is just terrible. We saw that firsthand in the Vikings game, that their offensive line was terrible to begin with, and they have injury issues, and yeah, Matt Ryan's not the same. That defense is not improved, and Julio Jones is dinged up, and what are they going to do?
Isn't Roddy White also injured too?
Yeah, Roddy White's perpetually injured, and Steven Jackson is like 87 years old, and they won't give the ball to Anton Smith for some reason.
Which is too bad. I always liked the Falcons, but I mean, they just cannot get a break. And like, I thought they were looking good at the beginning of the year, but then just I cannot believe it. Yeah, I don't think. I did not realize they were playing in England, so jolly good.
Good. And
yeah, unfortunately, I don't want the Lions to win, but they are good, and it doesn't help the Vikings cause. But yeah, I'm going Lions.
No, the Vikings aren't helping the Vikings cause right now. Buffalo at the New York Jets, featuring new weapon Percy Harvin. I got the Jets winning at home. Claire has Buffalo and Neckbeard on the road. Nick, what say you?
I got the Bills.
You would.
I took Buffalo. And I'm not just using the game that we played this last week, but yeah, the Jets can still play like the Jets, and I feel like they could. I feel like they'll make mistakes and cost the game.
You would take her side just because you want to get with her.
Whoa,
that's crazy.
Lawyer says no comment. Sorry.
You got no comment. Baltimore at Cincinnati. I have Baltimore on the road. Claire has the terrible Cincinnati Bengals at home in the Queen City. Nick, who you got winning?
I got the Ravens.
Damn right. Seattle at Carolina. Claire has Carolina getting it done at home. I got Seattle on the road.
I got Seattle on the road too. I think they obviously played poorly last week. I'm thinking they would that whole swing thing. You do bad one week, do good the next week.
Yeah, I think this team was reeling a little bit from the Percy Harvin news since that broke on Friday. Then they had to go to St. Louis and play a not terrible St. Louis team on the road, division rival. I think they take this week, get refocused. It is an East Coast game coming from the West Coast, but Carolina is garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think Seattle gets it done. Chicago at New England. Claire and I both have Patriots at home. Nick, who you got?
I got the Patriots too.
You would.
Just not because I think the Patriots are that much better, but because I just hate the Bears so much.
Bears. A lot of infighting. Brandon Marshall calling everyone out on the team. Kyle Long calling out the fans. Jay Cutler canceling his radio appearance, being smoking Jay Cutler again. And, yeah. We all know who the real winner is, though, Kristen Cavallari.
Oh, yeah. God, she was cute.
Now, Kristen Cavallari or Lauren Conrad?
I like Lauren a little bit more just because I think she seemed more wholesome, and obviously Family Guy, because Family Guy is phenomenal, and her appearance on that was one of my favorite ones of the later seasons.
I don't know, Nick. You seem like a Team Heidi and Spencer type of guy. I really hate that I made all those references. Moving on to manlier things. Well, not really so manly. Sorry, Claire. Texans at Titans. I have Tennessee at home. Claire obviously has Houston on the road. Nick, who you got?
I got the Titans. I need the Titans to do good because I have Delaney Walker in one of my leagues, and I need him to start producing more.
Bishop Sankey ain't shit.
Oh yeah, Shanky too. Yeah, and he's producing. He's probably the most active player on that team. So
being the most active player on the Titans is like saying you're the most active corpse at the morgue.
Yep.
Titans are terrible, even though they won last week, but whatever. Washington is worse. Miami at Jacksonville, the Battle of Florida. I have Jacksonville winning at home. Claire has the Dolphins on the road. Nick, who you got?
I got the Dolphins.
You would. Why?
I got Tannehill.
Because the Dolphins make you cry?
They do not make me cry.
I feel you.
No, I'm liking the Dolphins this year. I'm thinking they'll do good things.
Nick, you have to acknowledge my smart Hootie and the Blowfish reference.
No.
Remember Jerry Maguire when the kid comes up to Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character and he's like, "Are you Hootie?" No, I am not Hootie. I guess that kind of fits because it's a football movie. Yeah. St. Louis at Kansas City, the Battle of Missouri. Claire and I both have Kansas City winning at home. Who you got?
Hang on, I lost it. Oh, did you say the St. Louis and Chiefs?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. It's all black and white here. I picked the Rams.
You got St. Louis on the road.
I do have St. Louis on the road.
That's hot, even though Brian Quick is garbage.
I think he's overdue to come back.
You dunk is garbage.
He has to come back. No. I like that Tavon Austin too. So.
Gophers at Buccaneers. Just kidding. Vikings at Buccaneers. I got to do it. I got to stick with the Rube pick. I got the Vikings on the road. Tampa Bay coming off a bye, but they're still terrible. Claire has Tampa at home because she likes to stick it in my craw. Nick, who you got?
I got the Vikings. I cannot choose the Vikings.
Cannot not choose the Vikings.
If we're gonna win against a team, it's gonna have to be the Bucs. It's gonna have to be Leslie's team, Lovie Smith's team. We gotta, two of the best Thursday night teams to ever play are finally playing together. So I can't wait to watch it. Actually,
now when the Buccaneers were in the NFC Central, back when there was only 3 divisions per conference, it always seems like the Vikings struggled with them down in Tampa. Hopefully that doesn't hold true on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm gonna be cheering my best for the Vikes. The Vikings have to realize like this. We gotta stop messing around. We gotta start playing football.
And you know that Cordero is going to do nothing, even though he's on my bench, and that's fine. And then Doug Martin, who I just traded, is going to go out for like 5 touchdowns. And not even good touchdowns, like Matt Asiata-esque 1-yard fall into the end zone type touchdowns.
You got to give our defense more credit. I think the defense can. I have more faith in Zimmer's defense than.
All right, so we're already away from the picks. We're into Vikings griping again. But that was the last of the 7 games that Claire and I differ on. Philly at Arizona. We both have Arizona at home. Nick, who you got? Arizona. All right.
Yep.
Oakland at Cleveland. We both have Cleveland getting it done at home. Nick, who you got?
I have I have the Browns.
Not going to go on a limb with the Raiders?
No, I love the team name because my high school was Roseville Raiders, but no. Nope, sorry, David Carr.
You guys didn't have many Asians at your school, did you?
We had a small group.
The Roseville Raiders? I mean, that's going to be kind of...
We had a couple Asians. I was half Asian. I'm half Asian.
Anyways, I can make that joke, by the way, because I am Asian, just in case people don't know. Indianapolis Colts at Pittsburgh Steelers. We both have Indy on the road.
I have the Colts.
You would. Green Bay at New Orleans. Sunday night football. New Orleans in that dome, but I think Aaron Rodgers is going to eat their children.
Yeah, the Packers winning too.
Van Claire has Packers getting it down the road as well. And last Monday night football, Washington at Dallas. Dallas is going to feast on the bones of these poor Washington Redskins. Nick, who you got?
I got the Cowboys.
Now, I've made a conscious effort trying not to say the Washington name, except I just did. I guess it kind of slips. But I also have Dallas in Survivor Pool, and I've made it this far, so hopefully, fingers crossed, they get it done on Monday night. And Week 8 picks. Claire leads by 4 games. We differ on 7. I hope I can make up some ground. I think it's going to happen.
I wish you the best of luck, sir.
Yep. So, Nick, closing up shop, what's going on with you? Any news, any other random musings you want to talk about?
Random musings. Well, I'm on vacation for a week, as I said earlier.
Vacation. Dun, 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 dun.
The Go-Go's. That's what he's there.
Should have been Vegas vacation, Nick.
Not yet. I'm trying to save up money to go to Vegas in November. My roommate Sam's 30th birthday, but yeah, I have bills I want to pay, and I gotta kind of be on top of that, be a responsible adult. So
now, what sort of bills is it? Is it the monthly fee to Video Box?
My lawyer says no comment. I have normal bills like everyone else. Let's see. Well, I'm going on a road trip this week. Going down to Rochester to see a buddy of mine.
Rah, rah, rah.
Trying to head back to my alma mater, Winona State, for their homecoming, which I should probably call Tyler for that. Make sure he's cool with me hanging out there. All the hotels are booked in Winona. There's nowhere to stay in Winona.
That's like it's homecoming or something.
I know, right? And then I'm gonna watch the Vikings game live from Iowa with my friends the Kirby's. So that's kind of the objective. We'll see. Kind of dealing with a sore throat right now. I'm hoping that doesn't make me miserable all week, but I don't know. I do have a good story if you have time for that.
Yeah, fire.
All right. So this last weekend, I helped my brother move. He was renting a house in Blaine, Minnesota, and he moved to Woodbury. Very lovely, but the story isn't about the move. So after the move, me, my uncle, and my cousin.
What's your brother's exact address and social security number and class schedule and list of fears?
I don't even know his middle name. Sorry. So anyway, my uncle and my cousin who helped move, I suggested, hey, let's go out to dinner. Let's grab a few drinks. So my towny St. Paul bar story is, for those who don't know, I love St. Paul. For the Twin Cities, I'm a St. Paul guy. I always go to their bars over there. It's because downtown is such a hard, difficult thing to do. I started at Shamrocks on West 7th.
Smoke Rocks.
Shamrocks.
Okay.
I had the Paul Molitor burger. If those who don't know, there's a Juicy Lucy burger stuffed with pepper jack cheese.
Paul Molitor, potential future Minnesota Twins manager, Paul Molitor.
Yeah, hopefully. That would make the games really fun.
Male.
So started off at Shamrocks. Then we went to another hole-in-the-wall bar called Tavern in the Ave. Tavern in the Ave. Random, if you blink, you miss it. Ran into some biker friends of my uncle's.
Now, Lance Armstrong biker or motorcycle gang?
Motorcycle gang. Motorcycle gang.
No, sorry, motorcycle club.
Oh yeah, you're right. The club. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. Duh, club.
But really, gang.
It's a gang. It's a gang. It's a gang. So I had a few beers there. I was a driver, so obviously definitely against drinking and driving. So I only had one beer per place until I knew we were gonna have a final place. But my uncle and cousin can throw them back. So we end up ending the night at a bar in Roseville called St. Paul, Roseville side, called Gabe's. And about 2 hours in, my uncle and cousin are pretty tipsy, but obviously I was sobering up just because I'm driving. And
Gabe.
I know. So I called it a night, and I asked my cousin and uncle if they wanted me to ride. And they're like, no, it's okay. We could probably walk home. They live 2 miles away, so they're cool walking. I go out and see him the next morning. Apparently, my cousin got cut off from a bar, and my uncle had to take him out of the bar, and they had a huge argument outside the bar, and it resulted in my uncle walking home and my cousin getting home sometime 2 hours later who doesn't remember how he got home, but made home safe. But the bug, it's hard to get cut off at a townie bar. I mean, come on.
Wait, I thought the story was going to end up with some sort of police intervention or possibly some sort of human trafficking, like Taken.
There was no human trafficking in this story. I'm sorry.
Or perhaps being abducted, like 12 Years a Slave.
No, it's 2014.
That one might be
that doesn't
too soon.
happen. That doesn't happen.
That one might be too soon.
So, if you're ever looking for a good time, I recommend townie bars. And St. Paul has a lot of cool hole-in-the-wall bars. Get a good beer, or a lousy beer, We drink McGolden Light usually, so,
Are you trying to get a townie bar sponsor for your Taylor Swift podcast that's coming up?
Yes, I would like that. Hopefully they'll give me $3 to go away. And
the Taylor Swift podcast with Nickason, brought to you by Tab on the Av.
That would be great, but no.
And Claire messaged me a couple times. I asked her if she had any words of wisdom for the listeners since she can't make her loopy appearance. Hopefully she'll be back next week. She says to tell them that I haven't bathed since Saturday, but when I do, I'll be thinking of them. Heart emoji.
Aw.
And definitely not football because her teams stink. Yeah. Also, she went 1-4 in fantasy football in her 5 leagues that I mentioned earlier, so that also brings me joy.
Oh.
Woof.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. This hospital stay is probably a much needed break.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Her teams are probably going to lose next Sunday too, and Saturday, I guess.
Who's A&M playing?
Heck, I don't even know. Some SEC team probably.
So is she only a fan of Texas A&M? Is she not a fan of the? What? She wasn't there another Texas team that's popular down there?
So are you asking if she's a fan of the Texas Longhorns?
Yes.
That's dangerous territory, Nick.
Ooh, I'm sorry, I don't.
It's almost as bad as saying that she's a Cowboys fan. That's right. I'm sure once she hears this part, she'll give you a little bit of flack because that's like the no-fly zone list. That's like saying bomb in an airplane, saying Longhorn in front of Claire.
I love listening to Claire. I love it to death. And sorry, I don't know my difference. I don't know my difference between all the college sports and all that.
Yeah, all right. So I just thought about this. Since Claire's like this death metal, killing your mom type music aficionado, and the whole rock on symbol of the, you know what I mean. It doesn't come over in audio, but like the pointer finger, index finger, and pinky raised, and the other two brought down. Yeah, it's the exact same symbol as the Texas Longhorns hookup.
Oh, I know.
So
I know.
how does Claire justify being a rock music killing your mom aficionado while subconsciously supporting the Texas Longhorn University?
Well, I'm sure she's headbanging, nodding her head up and down. So maybe it's maybe it's kind of a push of being like anti-Longhorns.
Well, does she not do the rock on thing? Because I feel like that's rude too. It's like not putting up your lighter or cell phone during a ballad.
Yeah.
Extreme more than words.
Yes, that specifically that ballad.
Saying I love the show, but it's over and we've got to go.
I can play that next time.
Less than words. Claire-vs-Carlson show, and I'm done singing. But we are out of here. Thanks, Nickason, for filling in for Claire while she was dying.
Thanks for having me. Claire, I hope you get well soon. Can't wait to hear you next week.
Yep, Claire died, but she'll be back next week. She is at the ClaireBear23 on the Twitter machine. Nick, what's your Twitter handle again?
Twitter handle at Nickason, all one word. Asun, A-S-U-N.
Have you decided on a name for the future Hollywood Sun podcast?
We might keep it something like that, Hollywood Sun. Just because I know the word Sun, which is obviously my Twitter name. I don't know if a lot of people get the gist that I use Sun for all my funny little twists of my name.
Well, they'll figure it out.
So hopefully, if it doesn't sound too confusing, we'll keep it at that. Otherwise, we'll work on stuff. You know,
they'll figure it out because like this week you're on vacation at Sun, and you're gonna go to Winona for homecoming at Sun, and you're gonna watch football at Sun on Sunday.
Yep. So hopefully they get it.
Easy peasy. But thanks for filling in. It was a blast, and mostly because you let me do all the talking, and that's what I've wanted since day one on the Claire-vs-Carlson show. Don't tell Claire that. I don't think she'll usually cut out like right after I started singing Extreme or right after I started making the Longhorns to rock on hand symbol gesture thing. So hopefully she didn't hear that. But I'm Andy Carlson at Purple for the Win, all spelled out, purpleftw.com, Grand Poobah, and Claire vs. Carlson Show. We are part of the Late Night Sports Radio Network, latenightsportsradio.com. And we are out of here. Have fun this week with your picks. Good luck to me, not Claire, with our picks, and have an awesome week, and we will catch you back here Tuesday night, 10/9 Central, latenightsportsradio.com. We out. Say goodbye, Nick.
Goodbye, Nick.
Bye. Bye-bye.
The music was created and produced by Deeb. To hear more of his tracks, check out soundcloud.com/Deeb.
Sexy time. Suck on it, Trebek.
This is Sparta!